We are very excited to announce this year's laureates, two of whom, as you know, are here with us tonight. In a moment, they will expand on the issues that they are tackling in person and on video, for those of us who could not be here in wonderful Aspen tonight. First, after leaving her successful career as a senior economist and asset manager, Réjane Woodroffe turned her attention to a rural region in South Africa that had been completely cut off from the rest of the country for decades. They were living without roads, without running water, and without very basic services. The Bulungula Incubator acts as a catalyst to enable communities to solve their own problems, to create sources of income, to integrate new technologies, and to obtain the infrastructure they so desperately need. Here on the screen from South Africa is Réjane Woodroffe.
The area in which the project's located is in a remote rural part of South Africa that was designated a black homeland under apartheid. Because it was a black homeland, it had many challenges in that there was no school, no functioning school, no access to healthcare, no access to clean drinking water, widespread unemployment, high rates of illiteracy. And because of this, we decided to take an integrated approach to our development strategy, one which looked at all aspects of education, healthcare, job creation, micro-enterprise development, and provision of water and access to electricity, which meant that we had many projects in a concentrated area rather than one project across many areas. And we now use the lessons learned and the work that we've done and the successes that we've had in one area to replicate in other areas such as ours.
Next, El Salvador has been plagued with truly brutal gang violence for decades. In order to combat these pervasive issues, retail manufacturing executive Arturo Segura launched McNulty Prize, which engages youth in sports and leadership training. Through primarily soccer, boys and girls from these violent, fractured communities are crossing deeply entrenched gang lines. Soccer has created a bond amongst the young and a common ground for all members of the community, including parents and business leaders, so that they can peacefully coexist. Here from San Salvador is Arturo Segura.
Fellow from El Salvador. Here we go, got the mic up. I'm a Cali fellow from El Salvador. In 2009, I founded Proyecto País to address a rise of systemic violence and crime in El Salvador. Our country has one of the highest murder rates in the world. So we decided to replace violence with opportunities and choice. 18-year-old Jose from a small town called Izalco came from a troubled past. He had a broken family, bad conduct at his school, and he was in constant fights with fellow students. And now I lost my train of thought, so I'm going to go to Plan B here. Our project, Proyecto País, has given Jose a leadership role as team of his soccer team. He has also had the opportunity to learn and practice values through sports, where he now sees his other players and respects them, whereas before he was always punching him in the face and being very violent. And he's also had the opportunity to engage his father, who wasn't very present in his life. And he took his father from the stands onto the field, where he's now the coach and team representative. That is why we created Proyecto País, which is a community-based crime prevention and youth development model, which is empowering 6,500 youth at risk, like Jose, who are developing values, leadership, and peaceful coexistence skills and culture. And we will continue this effort until El Salvador no longer has one of the highest murder rates in the world. Thank you.
Development expert Lena Abu-Hijle made plans to be here tonight, but was compelled to stay back and address the escalating crisis in the Gaza Strip. Lena's Youth Local Council promotes a new values-based generation of political leaders who are focused on breaking the cycle of violence. To date, over 7,000 Palestinian teens have organized to run their own elections, to work with local constituents, and to execute community improvement projects. On the screen from Ramallah with us tonight, Lena Abu-Hijle.
Hello, my name is Lena Abu-Hijle and I'm the Country Director for Global Communities in the West Bank and Gaza. Palestinian youth constitute the overwhelming majority of the population. They are oppressed due to the continued occupation of the country and marginalized by their societies with few opportunities for them to engage in their community affairs and governance. Our youth local councils engage thousands of Palestine's youth, building their capacity, giving them a voice and a platform to respond to their community needs. Today, the movement truly belongs to the youth of Palestine, helping create the positive change we aspire for our country and the region. Dedicated council members, including young women, are leading their communities. They are working hard to realize their dreams of a better future based on freedom, justice, moderation, and all the great values we believe our country should be based on. Despite the pain and agony that prevails today, I'm bringing to you and the world a message of hope and peace from Palestine's youth. Help them realize their dreams, as brighter futures start with empowering today's youth. Thank you.
Years before the Bring Back Our Girls campaign and Boko Haram thrust Nigeria's issues onto the world stage, prominent human rights attorney Miriam Uwais and her Issa Wali Empowerment Initiative were very hard at work. In dangerous and remote parts of Nigeria, where even today bombs exploded, Miriam is a crusader for the basic rights of women, many of which we take for granted, through literacy, health, community leadership, and income generation education. Here with us tonight from Nigeria, Miriam Uwais.
Thank you very much. I'm vertically challenged, so it has to be brought down. The story is told of a teacher in the northern part of Nigeria who asks a classroom full of girls what they want to be when they grow up. A girl puts up her hand and answers, "I want to be alive." That response summarizes the situation in northern Nigeria, where, as you may be aware, 219 girls are still missing, having been abducted from their school 107 days ago. But even before the insurgency, poverty and culture have militated against the aspirations of a girl for a better life. For the parent, child marriage is preferred because this has always been about one less mouth to feed, plus the bonus of a goat as an immediate benefit. Child marriage and early birth often occur before the age of 15, which portends danger for the girl. Today in Nigeria, a mother dies giving birth every hour, not to talk about the deprivations of education, malnutrition for both mother and child, as well as the debilitating incidence of VVF that happens to girls who give birth with immature pelvises. To break this never-ending cycle of poverty, IWE, which is Issa Wali Empowerment Initiative, has focused on changing mindsets through advocacy and imparting knowledge directly in the spheres of health, empowerment, and security awareness in our rural communities. In 2013 alone, we impacted on almost 7,000 women, 900 children, and 700 men. Most importantly, we have improved livelihoods, we have raised awareness, and we have instilled self-confidence. Thank you.
Advocates for the world's most rare diseases often feel like their causes are left in the wake of more common, or for pharmaceutical companies, more profitable diseases. Through Global Genes, biotechnology engineer John Crawley has united groups advocating for over 7,000 rare diseases into one common cause. Global Genes campaigns on behalf of rare diseases to government and industry. It supports patients and families, and it promotes new avenues of research. John is currently on Navy Reserve duty, but is here tonight on the screen.
The problem that we saw in the rare disease community was really threefold. First, a lack of awareness that there are over 7,000 of these rare disorders that globally affect hundreds of millions of people. A lack of effective advocacy. And finally, that no single organization existed to represent the needs of all patients and families living with rare disorders. I think the reason for this problem was pretty straightforward, and that's that given the fractured nature of this community, that each family was uniquely focused on their own rare disease. So the solution that we created was to form a new umbrella organization called the Global Genes Project. And at Global Genes, what we seek to do is first to educate and build awareness. Second, to collaborate and empower, and we do this by sponsoring patient advocacy seminars, webinars, providing rare disease toolkits to families. And finally, we foster innovation. And we do all of this to provide hope to the community, because hope, it's in our genes.